We recently visited Two River Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey, to talk with the production team bringing Moliere's classic comedy, The School for Wives, written in 1662, to the stage. It was the last day of rehearsal before the public was invited in for previews, and State of the Arts got special access to an evening performance of this once controversial 17th century play, set in this production around the late 1950s, but still in a provincial French town.
I never knew this sort of thing till now, or guessed what raptures it could bring.
Yes, all these promises of love, undying, these sighs, these kisses are most gratifying, but they must be enjoyed in the proper way. One must be married first, that is to say.
The story of School for Wives is a story of a rich man of 42, Arnulf, he's called.
Who we meet at this particular moment when the young girl who he adopted this Agnès as a very young girl and decided that he would raise her up and teach her how to be a good wife. And we meet him when Agnès is now a young woman, an adult, and he's about to prepare to marry her. And unbeknownst to him, she has fallen in love. He sort of raised her up so well that she's this quite wonderful, beautiful young woman, and she has fallen in love with this quite beautiful young man who has come into town.
Horace has come to town to deliver a message from his dad, but along the way, while looking for Arnulf, who is nowhere to be found, has found this young woman, Agnès, in a room with a balcony and has begun to court her. But he is unaware of the relationship between Arnulf and Agnès. So a lot of hilarity ensues along the way between his courting of Agnès and his discussions with Arnulf about that courtship.
But you perhaps have seen this star of love whose many graces I'm enamored of. Her name's Agnès.
Oh, death!
This particular play was something of a scandal. When it was done, Moliere himself had to write a kind of response to the critics, and so it's an exciting play from that point of view.
Moliere meant it as a satire, but he also meant it as a sort of self-satire. He himself had just married, or was just about to marry, his very much younger wife, who at the time everybody knew was the daughter of his lover. And people weren't sure whether it was actually his daughter or not. So there was all kinds of uncertainties among the Parisian audience about what was really going on, and yet it was incredibly funny.
Tony Award-winning set designer David Gallo worked with director Mark Wing Davey to create a little universe containing an absurd and chaotic web of relationships.
What was interesting about this for me was that it was, in a lot of ways, doing what I was sort of trained to do and what I thought I would be doing my whole life. You know, in school you do these Moliere projects, you do Shakespeare, you do Chekhov, and then, you know, your life goes in a slightly different direction. So, you know, when Mark first called me about this, I was just so excited because this is actually my first, like, full-on classic.
Once he kissed your hands, what else did he do, as you recall?
Does one do other things?
No, not at all. But didn't he ask some further medicine for the sad state of health that he was in?
Why, no. But had he asked, you may be sure I'd have done anything to speed his cure.
For an audience, it's worthwhile for us to look back at those particular works of art that over our history have become things that have really shaped our culture and our world. And Moliere as a writer is definitely one of them. And he's done it not by being intellectual or, you know, necessarily, even though there's great intelligence at it, but he's done it by figuring out how to make us laugh. And that spirit and that energy about making us laugh at ourselves and our friends around us, I think it's something that we should be doing all the time. And when we do it around a play like, in the presence of a play like this, we understand that this has been something that we've been doing, and these are issues that we've been grappling with for all of human history. So this notion of the sort of battle of the sexes and what is at the heart of the tension in love and marriage and things is something we've been grappling with, and here is Moliere showing us how to laugh at ourselves about it.